There is no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. There is no biochemical reaction in your body that requires dietary fructose, not one. Every other macronutrient has an essential form, essential amino acids, essential fatty acids. Sugar has none. You could eliminate added sugar entirely and develop no deficiency of any kind. I'm Dr. Padda. Today, the three ingredients and the mechanism by which each one hurts you. Prediabetes and type 2 diabetes are diseases of insulin resistance. The sequence is excessive insulin production first, elevated blood glucose later, as the system finally loses the ability to compensate, which means blood glucose is a late symptom. Treating it is treating the smoke. Now hold that next to standard dietary guidance for diabetics, which has recommended something close to 55% of daily calories from carbohydrate, much of it starchy. We are advising people with a carbohydrate processing disorder to build their plate around carbohydrate, then increasing their medication when their glucose rises in exactly the way we should have predicted. Refined carbohydrate raises blood glucose, raises medication requirements, and causes weight gain. Those three effects are not controversial. They're on the label, so to speak. The counter move is straightforward, and the evidence supports it. A 2015 position paper by Feynman and 25 co-authors argued that dietary carbohydrate restriction is the single most effective intervention for reducing the features of metabolic syndrome and should be the first approach in diabetes management. Below roughly 10% of calories from carbohydrate I, a ketogenic range, you see the largest drops in hemoglobin A1C and the largest reductions in medication requirement. And critically, that happens independently of weight loss. The metabolic improvement is not just a consequence of getting smaller. It's the direct result of removing the input. I'll note that this is a position paper, a considered argument from a group of researchers, not a single trial. But it is well argued, and the trial evidence behind it has continued to strengthen. Robert Lustig's position is that sugar causes type 2 diabetes independent of its calories and independent of its effect on body weight. That's a strong claim, so look at the experiment behind it. Lustig's group took children with obesity and metabolic syndrome and restricted fructose while holding total calories constant. Same calories, same weight, just less fructose. Within 9 days, their metabolic markers improved significantly. That is about as clean a demonstration as nutrition research produces. When you hold calories fixed and change only one molecule, whatever improves is attributable to that molecule. And on the population side, added sugar intake is associated with increased cardiovascular mortality among U.S. adults, a dose-response relationship published in JAMA Internal Medicine. Now, seed oils, and I want to be precise, because this topic attracts more nonsense than any other. Industrial seed oils have been a significant part of the human diet only since about 1917. Against 2 to 3 million years of hominin eating, that is nothing. The specific problem is linoleic acid, the dominant omega-6 fat in these oils. Linoleic acid is chemically fragile. It oxidizes readily. That's why oils go rancid and oxidation doesn't stop when you swallow it. Context matters enormously here. In whole foods, seeds, nuts, fish, eggs, linoleic acid arrives alongside vitamin E and other antioxidants that protect it. Extract it, heat it, deodorize it, and bottle it, and you've stripped away the protection while concentrating the fragile molecule. Ramsden and colleagues recovered lost data from the Sydney Diet Heart Study. 458 men who replaced saturated fat with safflower oil. Their mortality was higher than controls. When those recovered data were folded into an updated meta-analysis, the risk of coronary and cardiovascular death trended upward, hazard ratio 1.33 with a p-value of 0.06. I want to be honest about what that means. 0.06 does not clear the conventional bar for statistical significance. This evidence points, it does not prove. The author's own conclusion was that the findings could have important implications for advice to substitute omega-6 for saturated fat. And that is exactly the right strength of claim. Older data suggesting omega-6 oils were protective was confounded. It lumped omega-3 intake in with omega-6, and omega-3 was doing the work. There is also an older literature on cancer, The Los Angeles Veterans Trial reported cancer mortality rising with omega-6 vegetable oil consumption. Animal work shows omega-6 promoting experimentally induced tumors, while omega-3 inhibits them. Here I'm going to stop short of where the slide deck goes. You will hear cancer is a metabolic disease stated as settled. It is not. It is a serious minority hypothesis under active investigation, and the older cancer signals from these trials have not replicated cleanly. What I'm comfortable saying is narrower and still important. Metabolic dysfunction and oxidized omega-6 products are plausible contributors to cancer risk. They are being actively studied, and that is one more reason to get these oils out of your kitchen. I'd rather give you a smaller true statement than a large one I can't defend. Sugar, refined grain, industrial seed oil. Remove those three and you have done more for your metabolic health than any medication I can prescribe. Next video, why eat less and move more fails 99% of the time, and what actually works. Padda Institute Center for Interventional Pain Management, St. Louis, Missouri, 314-481-5000. Educational content, not medical advice.